The next tool we're going to use is called flow direction. And what flow direction is basically going to do for us is it's going to look at each cell and it's going to create what's called an 8-direction 4-point model. So it'll look at each cell and it'll determine from that particular point, that particular cell, where the water is moving from that cell. So water can flow to one or more of its 8 adjacent cells. The numbers correspond to binary. So when you create this map, you'll see something that runs from 1 to 256. And what binary basically does is it creates a set of numbers, basically a row of zeros that we see here, and it places a 1 starting from the very far right, and it kind of just shifts it one position over towards the left as it goes down the list, as we can see here. And then everywhere where there is a 1, we have the value 2 and some power, and that power numerical value has to do with its position. So we can see in the very top row where it says 2 to the 0, that is the 0th position. In computer language it always starts with 0. The second position is 1, the third is a 2, and the fourth is a 3, so on and so forth until we go all the way down to 2 to the 7th. And actually the new ArcHydro release will go to 2 to the 8th, so there's an extra set down there at the bottom. So again, the 1s actually represent a calculation of 2 to some power, and the power is its position from the right. And then that value is basically added up, so we have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. And again, there's another row down there at the bottom, and it will go to 256, so we'll have a 2 to the 8th power. So each row will equate to a decimal value, so we often call this a decimal value, even though it's derived from binary. So now we're going to kind of take a look at this at a much larger grid cell. So what we're going to be doing when we use the fill sync tool is first we're going to be calculating the slope, and the slope is going to basically tell us exactly which direction is water moving from that cell. So a slope calculation is used to determine the direction of the flow between two cells. And that's going to help us determine the flow direction values. So each cell will contain a number from 1 to 256, giving it a direction. And then eventually we'll be able to create our flow direction map, and we can do this by creating connections. So our connections can now be made to begin building a flow pattern, also called a flow direction grid. So we can see the image towards the left. We can connect things. Obviously the adjacent cell with the greatest slope value is where the water is obviously going to move, and we can make those connections.